All right. So, welcome to Redox Nurse Talk. I'm Doria Stewart from Atlanta, Georgia, and my wonderful partner is Cindy Reed from Nashville, Tennessee. We're independent associates with a global research cellular health company called ASEA. And our mission is to educate people about this breakthrough technology called redox signaling molecules and how you can incorporate it into your lifestyle. And so we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us tonight. And so what you're about to hear is not intended to treat, cure, or diagnose anything. And we are very honored. We're going to show you a short little sneak peek video on the breakthrough of ASEA Redox and why people should really look at this. And we're very honored to have Dr. Marty Morin. That's going to be our guest. So he'll be our expert this evening. And Cindy will be interviewing him later after we see the video. You will have an opportunity to put your questions in the chat as you're hearing the interview and Dr. Marty Morin speaking. So you can do that at any time, and we'll keep an eye on those. So thank you, Cindy. I'm going to let you take it from here.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. This is Dr. David Silverman doing it's a new video he's just kind of improved on. So let me share the screen and we'll start with that.
Hi, my name is Dr. David Silverman. I'm a retired board-certified foot surgeon, and I was introduced to this breakthrough 13 years ago. And the reason I looked at it seriously when my friend brought it to me was because of my father, not me. I was 50 at the time. I'm 63 now. But my dad was not well, and he had he was told he had an issue that no one wants to hear they have in any part of their body ever. So I took the time to investigate it properly. And it sounded too good to be true, something that's made from salt and water. But I was motivated to learn about it, to see if it was real. That was 13 years ago, and thank God I did investigate it. Thank God I did. Your friend is bringing you this. And there are two things you can do. You can Google it and say there's enough here for me to investigate it properly, or you could Google it and say, no, it looks like salt water. I am at the corporate headquarters right now. These are the labs where they do the research on this. This has been out for now 15 years. Patents, intellectual property, trade secrets on producing it. It's produced in an FDA registered and audited production facility. This is a breakthrough that your friend is bringing you. And whatever your motivation is to look into it, maybe you don't sleep well, maybe your body hurts, maybe you have a breathing issue, maybe you have a skin issue, maybe you just want to look younger. This is the gel version of that. Whatever your reason is, take it seriously to investigate it for you. And if you say, hey, I'm healthy, I don't have any issues, I sleep great, my libido is great, everything's perfect, then please think about someone you love. Investigate it for someone you love, your mother, your father, your child, your pet. This is not a medicine. This is something that's in our cells make this, but we all made more when we were younger. And when you were younger, did you bounce back faster from injuries? Did you find as you got older, things started creeping up on you? Did you find your skin wrinkling? Take the time to investigate this, either for you or for someone you love. Please, your friend is giving you a gift.
Okay, now we're back. Okay. All right, I'll start with her. Doria, did you have anything else? I'm kind of off track. I was out a little bit last week. So we have a special guest tonight, Dr. Marty Morin. And Dr. Morin is, actually, he lives in Maryland and is presently in Canada at the moment. But he is a graduate from Auburn University. He is a doctor of veterinary medicine. So Auburn University, War Eagle. He has been a research-oriented veterinarian for over 50 years, and having worked at the National Institutes of Health and other international research companies. He's published peer-reviewed research to improve human and animal health. Dr. Morin is an expert in the science of redox signaling, and he has been with the SEA for 11 years. And actually, I forgot to mention he's married with wife Kathy and has 2 daughters. And I'm just real impressed with just his bio, having worked at the National Institute of Health and doing all the research that he's doing. So we're going to dig a little bit into that. So Dr. Morin, we're going to start by you just telling us how you were introduced to this technology and what your thoughts were when they did introduce. Were you open to it since you're in the science field anyway, or did you believe it was real?
No, I didn't believe it was real. But let's just go back to Dr. Silverman's video for a second. He's telling you that this is a gift. I like to say it's hope in a bottle. There's a lot of people out there, many people out there that are desperate for something to restore their health back to some acceptable spot. And so when the call came to our house 11 years ago, our friends found us. Well, I'll just say they found me in a bit of a desperate situation. I was 66 years old at the time. You can do the math, 77 now. But I could see that I was on a slope that wasn't a good one. My body was declining in its abilities, and I was worried about it. So one of our friends is a physician, but that's not why we listened to them. We listened to them because they were friends. And we watched the video. We said, what the heck, let's try it. It didn't compute for me. My experiences in the research laboratory, I had never heard of redox molecules before that phone call. But if they're right and I say no, wouldn't that be kind of silly? So we jumped on it. Why not? And I expected that it wouldn't work because so many things you hear that sound too good to be true are too good to be true. This one just happens to work. And if you are at all serious about having better health, or as Dr. Silverman said, if you care about somebody who could use better health, then learn about it. It doesn't cost you a dime to watch some videos and learn about it. And there's lots of great websites out there. Maybe Cindy or Doria will throw some of those other websites into the chat. And you could just go off on a little search pattern and try to figure out if this is real for you. I didn't really do that. I just consumed the product. And then my body started to change. That's what I noticed. We were sleeping better. Both my wife, Kathy, and I were sleeping better. We had more energy. I was diminishing in my ability to do outside work and exercise. And after just weeks on this product, I was out doing a really difficult yard task with a teenage neighbor and keeping up with him. My wife, Kathy, was inside having a panic attack. She came out more than once. It was a very hot day, I should add that. She came out more than once and said, will you slow down? In fact, will you come inside? I'm going to tie you to a chair, right? That's what she wanted to do. But somehow I knew my body could do that work. And I woke up the next day expecting all of those symptoms you have when you overdo it with exercise, and I had none. And so that was actually the very first day I made a phone call about ASEA. We had not decided to do ASEA as a business at that time, but I called my brother who had just had both of his knees replaced at the same time, which I thought was insane, but that's what he decided to do. And I said, Paul, I cannot explain this to you, but Kathy and I are doing better. We want you to watch a video and make your own choice. That's about all we said, because that's about all somebody said when they called us. We just gave him an invite to learn. and that's why you're here tonight, is an opportunity to learn. I will tell you that this is not leaving my house. Wherever I am, when Kathy and I have this around, I start with 8 ounces in the morning. People will tell you that's too much, but as I said, I'm 77 years old and I don't want to be. I want my cells to function younger. Does that help, Cindy?
That's perfect. And like we talked about, everybody has to find their own sweet spot. So we do usually start. Did you start with 8 ounces
Oh,
immediately,
no,
or did
no,
you work
that's
up to it?
years ago, right? We just
Okay.
did the 2 and 2.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's safe. It's good to work your way up and find what works for you. So you being a veterinarian, have you had any experiences, or do you know someone that's had results using this on their animals?
Oh my goodness. That's one of the websites you should probably stick in the chat, is Animal Webinar, all run together, animalandwebinar.com. And the password for that site is the word associate with a capital A. And just go in and listen to the testimonials. Now, ASEA has great testimonial sites where humans are telling you their story. And my guess is if you find a nice testimonial that you like where a human had a benefit, you can find one like that for an animal. And if you find an animal benefit on the animal webinar site and you wonder, yes, it'll probably happen for a human. Why? Because our cells function very much alike. And so, yes, this works great for animals. In fact, while we're on that subject, let me cue up a video because it will make a point that I would like you guys to consider. Now, there's not going to be any. Can you see this?
I can.
Yeah, good. All right. This is a 5-year-old stallion down in Florida. You can perhaps look around and see a lot of junk. You probably shouldn't have a 5-year-old stallion this close to so many pieces of material that could injure him. But he was injured, lower front right leg, and was down in a great deal of pain. A veterinarian came out to see him and looked at him, saw how much pain he was in, lower leg injury, not a very good chance for recovery. And the veterinarian recommended euthanasia. I do not tell you this story because the veterinarian was a bad guy. That's not the point here. The lady didn't like that answer, and so she called the second veterinarian, came out, looked at the horse, made exactly the same recommendation. Why would they both do that? Because lower leg injuries in a horse are very hard to deal with. The prognosis is very poor in Western medicine. I'm a Western trained veterinarian, right? I couldn't have done any better with Western medicine on this horse than these 2 veterinarians, which is why they recommended euthanasia. Now, this video is taken 8 weeks down the road. Tell me if you think this is a horse that should be euthanized.
Not at all.
I mean,
Wow.
why do I show you that? I'm not negative on veterinary practice. I'm not negative on dentists or human doctors. Just know that none of us know what we don't know. And these veterinarians did not know about redox molecules. They did not know there was a way to help this horse, help the horse heal itself, right? When Dr. Morin started taking this product 11 years ago, I had no idea this product was what was missing in my body for my body to start correcting its own problems. I didn't need Western medicine. So again, I'm not here to tell you that veterinarians are a waste of your time, doctors, dentists are a waste of your time. I just want you to be careful because they don't know about this technology. They just don't. And you know, I am in a very small niche in veterinary medicine. I have brought a lot of my veterinary colleagues onto this product, and none of them will talk about it. You have two very brave nurses on here tonight who are willing to talk about this, but a person with a professional credential and a reputation doesn't want to go out and potentially look crazy. We are not crazy. We have just had the good fortune to decide to use the technology. Doesn't matter that the world doesn't know about it yet. You do. I mean, you could go back to the story of penicillin. If you want an interesting story, go look up the background of penicillin. It was actually discovered at the end of the 1800s. No, Dr. Morin, you're wrong. It was a guy named Fleming in the late 1920s. No, it wasn't. It was a young French medical student in the late 1800s. Found it, proved it, took the research to the Sorbonne, which is probably the best laboratory in all of France, and they laughed at him, threw it away. And so it would then have to wait until Fleming found it again in 1928. And they didn't listen to Fleming either. Why did it go into mass production in the 1940s? There was a war on. The only reason we have penicillin was because of World War II. It wasn't the young French veterinary medical student. It wasn't Fleming. It was a war. Now, I'm going to pray for you tonight that we don't need a war for people to figure this out. You're all getting a chance to put in an order, give it a try, let the product show you what it can do. That's what happened to me. I didn't believe a word of it when my friends called, but I was willing to try it. Why wouldn't you try it? And since then, I've actually found several other products because somebody recommended it and I tried it. I find it helpful and I supplement it in. But this is my number one go-to. And it's really not a supplement, right? We talk about supplementing this technology, these molecules back to our bodies so our bodies can function better. But it's really, the word is bio-replenishment. Why? Dr. Silverman told you why. You already make these molecules. You just don't make enough. And if you think you don't make enough now, try 77 years old, right? If I wake up in the morning, it's because I have redox molecules, but not very many, right? And so I want to start filling up my redox gas tank, if you will. First thing in the morning, I do 8 ounces, not because I need to. Don't start a rumor Marty's sick. No, I'm not. But I want to start to fill up that gas tank as quick as I can for redox molecules because I want to run all day long. Doria texted me this afternoon, caught me out on a lake in a little fishing boat. And you know what? I was out there for hours. That's why my cheeks are a little red. I was out on the lake with the sun coming down and the sun bouncing back up off the lake. And I get to do that again. What's that worth?
It's worth a lot. I want to go back to something you said, that talking about, the world thinks we're crazy, we're professionals and we're talking about this crazy science. Dr. Morin, I'd much rather be crazy and working on my health and possibly, I won't say preventing, but just keeping things in check than struggling with the things after the fact. I'm a hospice nurse and I know Doria has seen a lot of issues with patients as well. I don't want to get to that point in my life. And if there's something we can do now, and that includes nutrition, that includes exercise, that includes a whole modality of things we need to do and work on. And if this can be a key or the missing link, I don't care if people think I'm crazy. I was already on that road looking for more of a healthy alternative because I wasn't getting answers from Western medicine. So call me crazy. It works. But that brings up.
That's the point. Western medicine is stuck in a disease management modality. They're looking for a pharmaceutical. Now, understand that probably everything we need for our health was already on this planet before we were born. And we just need to discover those natural products that can help us to be well. But Cindy is right. If you want to be well, I would suggest you start with these redox molecules, because I will guarantee you every adult on the planet is deficient. I know that's true. Now, so redox molecules, I start with that. But you will also need exercise. You will also need hydration, and you will also need nutrition. This is important. If I'm going to supplement or bioreplenish anything to my body, this is going to be where I start with. But if I'm not moving, if I'm not hydrated, and if I'm not putting good nutrition into my body, I want to make better cells, and I can't make better cells without the nutritional materials in my body to make those cells with. So we're not trying to tell you this is the only thing you need. And we're not trying to tell you it's going to cure anything, because it won't. What it's going to do is allow your body to correct its own problems. You saw Rocky the horse in 8 weeks do something that 2 probably highly qualified veterinarians could not do. And they didn't want to take the lady's money if they were going to fail. So again, I'm not being negative on any Western practitioners, but no, they don't have all the answers.
Obviously, someone shared redox with the owner of the horse, and I love horses. I think that's the most beautiful animal God created, and to see a horse put down just breaks my heart. So that's a miracle for that horse. Dr. Morin, you also had some results, and I think you have another picture you want to share. We do have a gel version of our liquid, which is a concentrated form of the redox, and people are having great results with it as well. You want to show? There you go. So explain what you did and the time frame. I think it's showing 28 days. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, at the beginning of our journey with the SIA, the company came out with a topical gel. Dr. Silverman was holding this up as well. A topical gel form of the same redox technology. And I was showing people photographs where the skin, especially older people's skin, was doing better when the gel was applied. And they said, Marty, you're just being tricked. Those are Photoshop images. And so I thought, I'm a researcher. My face has 2 sides. It's called Renew 28. I put the gel just on one side of my face. Obviously, this side. I can't get my cursor to go there. All right, so the side with the words that say 28 days applying Renew 28.
I'll pull it there. Can you see
Yeah.
my cursor? Can you see my cursor?
I don't.
Okay, it may just be my screen then. Okay.
Yeah. Anyhow, it doesn't really matter. I did this because I wanted to stand in front of people and say, have them tell me I was Photoshopped 3D in color, standing right in front of them. They couldn't do that. So that was kind of how I started. And I sent that picture in to ASEA to win a contest. But I didn't follow the rules, and you'll find out about Dr. Morin. He doesn't follow the rules, and so they disqualified my picture. But of probably all the pictures that were submitted for that contest, mine is the one that ASEA wanted the rights to use. and so now everybody in ASEA can use this picture if you want.
And you can obviously see on the right side, when I'm looking at it, the right side with the no Renew 28, you can see the deeper creases in the wrinkle. Well, you can see more wrinkles, obviously. In the left side, it's like they're not there at all.
Yeah, no, and the product, the Renew 28 topical gel, has no moisturizer in it. So how did the skin get thicker on the side with the gel? It got thicker because the cells on that side of my face realized they weren't doing as good or as they weren't doing as well as they could, and they started to fix that. The other side didn't have that technology available to them, and so it still looks a little, I don't know, I would say wizened. And maybe the ladies wouldn't be so cruel, but it looks a little wizened over there. And now, if you think this was silly, you should have been my wife. Now, I'm doing this experiment with half my face, and everybody's all abuzz about it. And Kathy says, well, that's fine. Works for you. Doesn't work for me. I said, what? I said, I knew it was working for her. The kids knew it was working for her, but she didn't see it. Why? Because she didn't have that beginning photograph and take it a month later. Right? It's very important. If you want to see the change in your skin, you're not going to see it from yesterday to today. You just aren't. Now, if you have a black eye and you start putting the topical gel on that bruise, you will probably see some improvement within 24 hours. But if you're looking for your skin to do something like this, you need to give it a little bit of time.
And I think that's even amazing with that time frame. I'm sorry, Dr. Morin.
Yeah, with 28 days. It's still good that it's 28 days. But Dr. Silverman has another video out there you could go watch. 3 times in 5 minutes. Somebody could put that in the chat. The number 3 times in 5, the number 5. 3 times in 5 minutes.com. And he'll show you how to use this topical gel with people. And within 10 minutes, most of them, if they've applied it several times, will notice something is different. Again, we're not trying to cure or treat people. That's not the point. But we may well be able to give them an experience that this technology is valid and it works and it's safe. Let's pause on that. This technology is 100% safe. I can't name a veterinary drug or a human drug I would say that about. 100% safe. Where are you going to go find that?
Well, because it's native to your body. I mean, that's the key. And like you were talking about the nutrition and exercise, we can take all the supplements, we can eat all the best food, and we call that the building supplies. But the redox signaling molecules is actually the labor. So it's the communication that gets everything put together to help your body do what it needs to do. With this and with the research you've done, have you ever seen anything that remotely on this level? And I know in the past, we used to think, if I'm remembering my history right, of science. So these molecules that now we call redox, they used to think it was a byproduct or waste product of cellular respiration, and they thought there wasn't a point to it. But now they're realizing that this has a purpose. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And if you look, I don't want y'all to go on a huge science journey, but when you look inside the pharmaceutical industry, you'll find that a lot of the pharmaceuticals are inhibitors. Now, from what I understand, life is a cycle, right? Summer follows spring, fall follows summer. It's a cycle around. This morning, the sun came up where I am, and now it's gone the other side of the world, and it'll be back up tomorrow morning. It's a cycle. And your body is too. Your body is a cycle. So I don't understand why, and we would want to inhibit a cycle that is supposed to be happening inside our body. So, I just have a problem with that. And what we have with this technology is a way to improve cellular efficiency, improve cellular communication. When I try to explain this to somebody, about all I do is go find my phone. Now, I'd already said Doria and I were texting back and forth this afternoon while I was out on the boat. And my phone can't do that. Her phone can't do that. If there hadn't been a cell tower near me and a cell tower near her, we would not have had that texting back and forth. And so I want you to think about your inside your body, your cells need help to talk to each other. And that's redox molecules. And again, I get up in the morning, I wake up because I have redox molecules. If I didn't have them, I would not wake up. All right, so I wake up because I have them, but not very many. And I want more. So I go to find my bottle and start supplementing it. And as I said, I just go straight to 8 ounces because I know I might get busy during the day and never get back to taking another slug.
Makes sense. I like your analogy about the cell towers. That's pretty simple. And we like to keep it simple. And like Dr. Morin talked about, we don't have to know the science like when he was introduced to it. And you just basically said, hey, send him to a video or something. And it's very simple. It doesn't go into the science. It just basically, like David Silverman said, basically how it communicates and increases that cellular communication in your body. Doria, I don't have any more questions at this point. Is anyone putting them in the chat? And Doria, you probably have some.
Yes, I have just a couple. So, Dr. Marty, was your wife on board in the very beginning, or is she skeptical about this?
Well, we were both skeptical, but we trusted our friends and we're willing to give it a try.
Okay.
That's the only hurdle you have to get over. Try it. Don't just sit there and say, it sounds too good to be true, so I will skip it. In 5 years, you will regret that decision. It's my prediction for you. I am so happy I was skeptical, but tried it.
So
we don't mind skeptics, by the way. We love skeptics because if you'll give us an honest try, you'll know this works.
Yes, of course. Did your wife, Kathy, have a personal testimony to tell about her on the trial?
Kathy. Kathy was nearly paralyzed in the early 2000s. We started with ASEA in 2013. So she went through that window from early 2000s to 2013 with long-term nerve damage. And again, I'm a Western trained veterinarian. What does that mean? That means I don't know what I don't know. And so I thought at the beginning that nerve damage is permanent. That's what I was taught. Nerve damage is permanent. Well, what if it isn't? Because within a month, Kathy started to notice that her residual nerve damage was changing. She didn't mention it to me because she didn't want it to go away, right? She was confused. You don't necessarily tell everybody, oh, I think I'm having an epiphany. You wait until it's complete and you know what you're talking about. And so within 3 months, though, she had no more residual nerve discomfort. 3 months. And that was a 12-year duration. Her nerves were damaged for 12 years, and still they had a chance to restore. What did I say? Hope in a bottle. Don't dismiss this because you don't understand it. Try it. And so for me, when Kathy was having this kind of a benefit, I was having all kinds of benefits, like that exercise I mentioned. Our job was then to go to people like Dr. Silverman and others who knew more than we did and say, please tell us why this works. Not just that it works. Why does it work? Well, it works because your cells need help. That's it. Your cells need help, and ASEA has found a way to provide it for you. It's really kind of that simple. There's obviously some great nuances in how you make it and all the different things it can do. But that's really, it's almost an impediment to this story. You'll hear fabulous story after fabulous story. quite
Oh.
frankly, as nice as that is, I like the fact that I sleep better. I like the fact that I have more energy for my day. Isn't that enough for most of us? I think it is.
Yeah, I can understand that because, I wake up, I actually have my bottle next to my bedside because when I wake up in the morning, I don't feel like I have a whole lot of energy. And so I take just a cup full before I even get out of bed. And that just gives me that extra so to speak, to start my day. And then I have more of my dose later. So I have it at my bedside. So your research, it kind of, go into just one of the studies, not the recent study, but the Tort Lab study. Could you talk a little bit about that? And then did they also, after they did the Tort Lab study, did they, kind of like when they did the NRF2 pathway study, they didn't really think it was working and they sent it out for a third party. So did that also happen with the Tort Lab study as well?
Well, I'm not on the medical board, so I can't have privy to all the backdoor studies. But, they started studying this right away because they noticed that athletes were calling them up and saying, "Why is this working?" And they were trying to sort through some of that. But yes, when they decided to look at gene activation, I have some lights on in this room right now, or it would be really dark where I am. Well, gene activation is nothing more than doing what it's supposed to do. If I flip the switch on the light, it comes on. Why? Because it has electricity. But the thing that happens is I flip the switch, right? And so inside your body doesn't know what to do. It needs the gene and it needs to read it to know what it's supposed to do next and what it's supposed to do after that and after that and after that. And if the genes won't turn on, I'm sorry, but you're in a lot of trouble. Your genes are supposed to turn on. When your body opens the file drawer and pulls out the gene, it's supposed to work, but they don't always. And what the company found out is that when they put people on 8 ounces, that's part of why I use 8 ounces. They put people on 8 ounces of this liquid during the day, and they were testing only 5 genes. This is not an exhaustive study, but there are 5 pretty important signaling genes, so that's why they picked them. And they found that the people with the 8 ounces were having gene activation. Don't get stuck on what the heck is gene activation. Just go flip the light switch and it comes on or it doesn't, right? If you flip the light switch and your lights don't come on, perhaps your circuit breaker tripped, right? Don't go change all the light bulbs. Go check the circuit breaker first because maybe there's no electricity going to the bulb, right? And so that's really what this was all about. They found that with enough redox molecules, genes that were off flipped back on. That's really all that happened. And those people had a benefit. Now, did they all jump up and down and shout hallelujah? No. Because a gene turns on and does what it's supposed to do, you're not necessarily going to feel it. All right, I got 2 nurses here, right? If somebody shows up at the hospital on Monday morning with a heart attack, what do you think they would have done on Friday afternoon if they had known that was going to happen?
Gone to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
How about they would have gotten some help in a
Yeah.
hurry, wouldn't they?
Right.
But they didn't feel the heart attack coming. And so they ended up at the hospital on Monday morning. Well, so you're not necessarily going to feel your body rewinding toward health. This is a wellness product, folks. Don't miss this. This isn't a treatment. It's wellness in a bottle, right? We get to activate genes so they start to do what they're supposed to do again. Our body starts to know because they've got help on the communication side. Our body, our cells start to know they're not doing what they're supposed to do, and they get a kick in the backside to improve their function. And if they can't, they were told to leave that spot so we can put a better cell there, right? That's how your body corrects its problems. And I don't care what pharmaceutical you're on, your body still has to know and activate a better cell, an improved repaired cell, or a better cell in that position. Your pharmaceutical will not do that for you.
Yeah, unfortunately not. Thank you. One other thing is, what would you say to those that say that I'm healthy and I don't need to take this product?
Well, we've just had the Olympic Games, right? And we have a couple of athletes who used this technology and won medals in the Olympic Games. I'm not saying in this last one in Paris, but that has happened. And so a young, fit athlete is well. They are. But these kids were smart enough to figure out that their body functioned better with better communication, with better cellular efficiency. Their body functioned better. And so they used it and won a couple of gold medals. How about that? Actually, one of them also won a bronze medal in the same games. So if a teenager, young 20s, can win gold medals, swim better, or function better as an athlete when they use this technology, I guarantee you every adult on the planet could function better. Whether you think you need it or not, just like Dr. Silverman said in that video, you should give them the address for that, by the way. They should watch it again. That they just have to give this a try, because if you don't think you need it, you know somebody who does. I guarantee it. You know somebody who is on their knees right now looking for better health. And while this is not a call about ASEA as a business, there is a bigger need in this world today for financial aid almost than there is for wellness aid. The world is really hurting financially right now. And so you have a way to turn a friend on to a side business if they want one. Why not?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Cindy, is there any questions in the chat for Dr. Marty Morin?
There are a couple. Do you have any? Well, let me go back here. So you said you drink all of your ASEA in the morning, right? You don't drink any at night?
Well, I do when I remember.
Okay. And do you have any pictures of the horse before, like when the horse was injured?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, we do actually have some pictures of the injury, but it would gross people out. You don't want to see it.
We're nurses. We're used to that.
Most people are.
And then there's one, have you ever seen an animal not show improvement within 30 days?
I'll tell you what, animals figure this out real fast. I have yet to see, now, been doing this for 11 years. I have seen a lot of humans walk away from this technology. Now, a whole bunch of them, I will tell you, come back. Uh-oh, doc, I got a bad diagnosis. Are you still doing that salt water thing? Yes, I am. Anyhow, humans look for a new shiny object oftentimes. It's part of human nature. Animals don't do that. When animals have a benefit, and animals can't have a placebo effect, right? You can't trick an animal. They have a benefit. They want more of this technology. I often, when I'm doing animal talks, I just take the top off a bottle. Did that make a lot of noise? Anybody hear that?
I heard a little bit, not much.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, if you have a cat and the cat figures this out and you just take the cap off the top of the bottle, the cat will be on the counter. And if you have a dog, probably don't want them jumping on the counter, but they're rubbing up against your leg. Are you drinking that stuff? You want to pour some for me? Your animals will ask for more.
And they were talking about within 30 days. I don't know about you, but if I'm talking to someone about this, and like you talked about, you're not going to feel it necessarily. You may see evidence of it down the road, but you're not going to feel anything, quote, feeling. I do encourage people to do at least 3 months, at least 90 days, but I really like to see them do 120, do 6 months to really get a good feel. What do you suggest for people?
Well, I think almost everybody will notice something in 90 days if they're paying attention, right?
Mhm.
That's why you need a really good comprehensive list. Don't let's just go back to Marty at the beginning. I had a bad shoulder. And if that had been my focus, I would probably have stopped. But I had better sleep. I had better energy. I had the ability to do that yard work. I had all kinds of things moving in a positive direction, plus what Kathy was experiencing. Plus, by then, my brother was experiencing things. He got on the product. So it would be really good if you're starting this out, maybe collect a couple of friends, say, hey, you want to try this with me? This seems a little weird, but I'm going to try it. If you try it with me, we have a better chance of noticing something within whatever, 30 days or less. If you do 3 times in 5 minutes, David Silverman will show you a way to know this is true in 10 minutes. Can you give us 10 minutes? I hope you can.
That's and Barbara, I'm not sure. Barbara put, we don't see the doctor. Do you mean you don't go see a doctor or do you don't see Dr. Morin? I'm not sure what that message was supposed to be.
On my phone, all I see is a green screen.
Oh, can everyone else see him? I can see him.
Hello.
Oh, there I do. Okay, I'm looking at somebody else. Sorry.
I have one last question. So, Dr. Marty Morin, you have been with ASEA 11 years. Tell us about the culture. What does the culture of ASEA mean to you?
Well, before we let everybody in, you guys were asking if I met Vertus Norton. Vertus Norton is the man who figured this out. Now, today we talk and look up to Tyler Norton, but Tyler is the son and a skeptic. I'm not negative on skeptics. I was one, right? Tyler was a skeptic. He was worried his dad was doing something really silly. But Vertus knew this was real. He pushed right through family objections and found a way, found people. The story of ASEA, when it gets published, will look to you like it had divine guidance. Because they needed a nanoparticle researcher, and one just happened to live next door to Vertus's daughter, Nancy. Hello. In fact, that little image of the phone needing a cell tower, here's the cell tower for your body, right? I mean, that analogy came from that nanoparticle scientist who was living next door to Vertus's daughter. Everything fell in place. And this technology wasn't just made outside the body. That was the technology Vertus purchased, but it wasn't stable. And this would be a much different story if we were all going to some IV center and being injected IV with these redox molecules. That would be a whole lot harder than getting up or being in bed and already being able to pour yourself a cup, right? So this is a marvelous gift we have, stewarded by the right family. The Norton family is all in on this now. Tyler, obviously, all in on this now. He wasn't at the beginning. It's okay to be a skeptic. Be a skeptic, but be honest and try it.
Thank you.
Well, Dr. Morin, I think that's all in the chat. I appreciate, go through. Yeah, I think that's it. I appreciate you coming on tonight. This has been awesome. And I love the fact that you've covered and the fact of just your history in general, the background of your veterinary science and the research that you've done. So you're speaking from the science level. And even though you were a skeptic, you're definitely a believer now. Dory, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you close this out.
Okay, so I'm not sure if anyone is on this evening and heard this for the first time, please get back to the person that invited you to the Zoom this evening. We did put the videos in the chat. There's also a wonderful video called The Genesis Story. And if you have time, go to the longer version of that. It's really pretty amazing. Next week, we're getting prepared for a convention next week. So we have a bye next week. We don't have a Zoom, but we'll be back on September 24th. And we have Andrea Foster, and she is she's in the wellness industry. Of course, we are too, but it'll be neat to hear her testimony on how she's how this has helped her personally, and also how she's incorporated it into her clinic as well. So thank you.
Well, thanks everyone. And thank you, Dr. Morin, again. We will upload this to our YouTube channel. It will be up by in the morning. So just go to YouTube and search Redox Nurse Talk, and feel free to share this with friends and family or anyone as well. And we will see you back in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Everybody, have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.